Right, so we have a little bit issue with our database. So now you can see that this is a brand new database. Things like this will happen. So you have to anticipate. So if you're working on any project, your final year project or whatnot, make sure that you have proper backup. Okay, so you have proper backup. And if something goes wrong along the way, so you can always revert back. So I don't have any problem with that, just that I need to download again my XAMPP because I already deleted my XAMPP installer file. And then need to do all the installation, everything goes back, and my even if I don't have my server, I do have the backup here. I have my my GitHub page, so I can always return everything back to my previous state or my last state. So that's basically just to demonstrate, or apparently to demonstrate to you the importance of doing backup, importance of having GitHub, and so on. So if this is just a very small, still in new development. So if you can imagine that if you're already halfway throughout your project and then something goes kaput, so you have no way of going back or even start or redo the project again. So that's going to be very, very bad for you. Okay, so that's basically it. And I hope it's a very good lesson for you. And also for me, I've done this many, many times. So that's why I always create backup. MySQL happened to me also before this, like a few years ago. The same thing happened. But again, I can always return back to normal. It apparently the stability for XAMPP, they do have issues with that. I'm not quite sure why or what's wrong with them in that sense, but yeah, always back up your database, always back up your backend, and push your code to GitHub. So this is a good lesson. All right. So it's going to be very scary if you don't have any backup. Okay. But yeah. All right, so now let's get back to our business and run back our XAMPP and run back our AVD and change your IP address, IP config. Just make sure that you are on, if you're on new address, this is my address now. So it's basically changed, as you can see. So change to new one, which is 202. Let it run. And compile. Okay, so basically for today, I'm going to demonstrate how to implement what we call as a shared preference. So shared preference, this is basically to allow user to remember their password, and they don't have to, because nobody like to store their password, to save their password, to write down their password every time. Certain application you would allow for user to remember their password, but sometimes you might want to force user to enter their password. For example, like banking system, so definitely you want your user to enter password whenever they would like to implement any transaction. Maybe double authentication, triple authentication, fingerprint, so that it is because the app is very critical in nature. But for example, like MyFuwu application, so definitely you can just allow them to remember the password, because this is not like very critical application. So I'm going to implement Sharedpreference. The library here called Sharedpreference, and Sharedpreference available as a dependencies. So you have to install them. Take some time to install, not quite sure, but yeah, let's just take a look at Sharedpreference. All right, so this is a Sharedpreference plugin, which basically allow you to run on Linux, iOS, macOS, web, and also Windows. So it means that you shouldn't have any issue apart from the versioning here. Okay, so for Android, iOS, and Mac, you need to make sure that the target operating system for the Android, it needed to be 16 plus. For iOS 12 plus, and for Mac OS 10 plus, 10, 14 plus. So that's not the only requirement to be able to use Sharedpreference in your application. And Sharedpreference is basically a key value type of application. So type of plugin. So which means that you can store your key and value. So for example, that you have your email as your key and your password here also the value. So key is email and the content is the value for the email. For the password also the same. The key is password and the password itself as a value. Um, and that also allow you to load the data back if user um, type on the remember me. Right, so in this case, we have register page, and usually the remember me, we implement remember me in the login screen. So here I'm going to create new login screen because we don't have yet our login screen here. So it means that once they have completed with the login, so I'm going to remove the remember me from here because usually you don't put remember me here in the register page. So I'm going to create login page dot dot. So within the login page dot dot, actually it is basically the same with register page. Only is that we only have email and password with remember me and login at the bottom. Okay, so we're going to do that, and just to make things faster, this is basically the same with register page. So I'm going to create STF first. And this is a login page. And since this is the same with register, I'm going to take my build method here. So they are all the same. So I'm going to pick up a few, for example, password controller and text controller. And also I'm going to need height and width for responsive. And then is visible for visibility. That one I believe, I'm not quite sure which one that I use. Oh yeah, this is for this. Um, so what else do I need? Is loading, something else. Okay, this one also need my build method. So I'm going to put this away for now. And usually you can just put it to the right. So split right, close that, and close this one, so that you can just copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. So which means that I just want to take the whole scaffold, the whole build method. So just take the whole build method and just remove later. So the whole build method basically center around scaffold here. So I'm going to remove all this. Don't worry about the error. Oh, it's double. I didn't delete the whole build method. It's supposed to delete the whole thing here, right? So get the whole build method. So get all this, dump that. Right, so the things that we need now is the password controller. So this is a password controller. We have the obscure tags. If you want to have them, should be okay. Confirm password, no need for the confirm password. You can remove them. For the register button press, okay, definitely we need that. But this one is for login. So I'm going to remove. This is also remove. This one you can just put in. Don't have account, register. Don't have an account, register here. Okay. Forgot password? Yeah, definitely you can have that. Visible, so we can have visible. So visible is another variable, put it there. And well, remember me, yeah, we're going to use remember me here, but we're going to remove remember me from our register. So I'm going to remove this remember me, which is inside a row. So no longer need register me here. So there you go. Let's remove that email, password, confirm password. So might need to add small amount of size bar. Set height to, let me set to 20 for the height so that you can get spaces there. All right, so this is for register page. And this is going to be our login page with only email and password. And login button at the bottom. So means that this is now login. For forgot password, this forgot password, no need for here. I believe we can just use only already have an account. So remove that already have an account. Forgot password, no need for the forgot password things here. So there you go. So this is our register page. This is our login page. So it means that you want to be able to go to the login page. At the moment, we don't have any method to go there. So it means that I can just use already have an account. I can go here, log in. So a little bit high for the size box, let's say 10. So now I need to allow for this already have an account, click login. Okay. So which means that I need to implement on tab for tags, but usually for tags you cannot do that. But you can implement. Or let me just close on this for now. For the main also, put it here. So now I want to be able to click on this, which is the text here. You can use a number of widgets. You can use text button actually. So text button if you want to. Right, text button. You can have on press there. So this is a text button. Okay. So means that it is a button, but with a tag feature. Right? So with a tag feature. So which means that if you want to navigate to log in, so you can just use navigate. Where's my navigate? Um, through my main page. Just want to use navigate, but it never register my navigate. So this should be going to the login page. Okay. So this one navigator dot push. And then we want to route to login page. So if I click on this, now this is our login page. It's not supposed to be a register page. I forgot to change my login page. Title, this is a login page. Okay, so this is login page. You can go back. To register, this is the login page here. But if you go back here, it will go back to the main page. But usually you want to have like once you register or successfully register, you want your registration to go straight to the login page for them to log in. So which means that your register page here instead you can use the link there. But this navigator.push you can also implement once users successfully register, which is here. This is where we allow user to register, but we need also for user to offloading our loading screen because here it's only means that I can just put it. I can just pop the current register screen, but then I can just go straight to my login page. Okay, so it means that you close your login screen, your register screen, and then you can go straight to the login page. So the logic is basically depend on how you want to implement them. So in this case, I want to once users successfully register, show a snack bar. This is the snack bar. Pop the current register screen because you no longer need them. And then just push to login page. But you need to make sure that your is loading if still true. So you have to, but actually there's no need because we already removed our layout. There's no need for that at all. We remove the context and whatnot. Okay, so yeah. But for now, if let's say, let me just register new account, Hadi at email.com, password ABC123, ABC123, and press register. Are you sure you want to register? Close. Oops. Is there any registration issue? Is it success? Check database again. There's my database. Oh, they do have Hadi, but it didn't register for status success. What's the status? It should go here. Should close this current page. Hold on. It's my print. Or maybe my contacts here close everything. Wait. Push, show the snack bar. If equals success. Why is still here? Didn't push here. Contacts, go to the login. Just a different account. Oh, wait, no, it didn't stop at all. New account. I'm right at email.com, ABC123, ABC, sorry, ABC123, ABC123, and register because I need to close the UI. If I didn't do that, let me just put some printouts here. Print JSON respond. I just want to see first. It should. Oh yeah. Because of this, I need to close this. It's stuck there. Okay, so means that I need to offloading my loading here. But it's getting longer. Okay, so if success, then Do that. If loading is true, remove the current context, and then um, we can pop again the registration dialog and do that, right? So this is just a simple, just a matter of the flow logic there. It's still doing the registration, the progress there. Okay, one more time. Osman at email.com, ABC123, C123, and register. Yeah, there you go. So successfully registered, and then it will automatically forward to login page. And now you can deal with your login page. So um, Amran at email.com, ABC123, and tap on this. You can see the password. And now we want to deal with remember me. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to you. That basically the flow. Okay, you have to check the flow because sometimes I also miss the flow. But this is not uh, the best flow, but you can just check if status success. You want to make sure that your progress bar or progress dialog close. So it basically check if this is loading is equal to. We just set state, just remove the is loading set to false, which means that the progress there is basically the alert dialog or the show dialog is going to be closed. And then we go here to pop the registration dialog and then redirect to login page. All right, so that's it. Okay, so that's basically the whole process here. All right, so now we want to work with the login page. We want to implement shared preference. We want to make sure that, sorry, sorry, shared preference works in our application. And definitely the first thing that we need to do is just to import the shared preference. Okay, so install the shared preference. You can either go through the terminal at the bottom, which is here, and paste and add. Okay, so should be okay. So your output should show 0, as equal 0, and now you can use your um, shared preference. So now I'm going to talk about credential, how to store credential, how to work with credential. Now, the first thing that we need to do now is our checkbox here. Our checkbox here is not functioning because we set everything to false. So we need to add our checkbox is check. So this is a Boolean. Is check or is remember, that depend is check equal false. So that's basically by default. So now we need to go back to our checkbox and implement is check. All right. So on change within the checkbox, if is check if checkbox is reverse, so if is check is true, reverse the value. So that's basically just to implement. Oh yeah, I forgot about it. Yeah, you have set state. So now you can see the checkbox is working. That's basically just to enable checkbox. Okay, so set the value to variable, and the on change will receive whenever we tap on the checkbox, it will receive true or false as a boolean. So change the is check to the value that is being not. Okay, means that if true, it's become false. When it's false, it's become true. And then update your set state. That's it. Okay, now you get your remember check me on. Next, we want to implement that depend. Either you want to implement through the checkbox here, means that if user press here through, means that they want to store their preference straight away, or if user press login button, store the preference. Okay, so usually what I did is that when I tap on this, I'll check for the email and password first. If email and password, they have email and password, and then I check when I click on the remember me, will remember the email and password. If I untap on this, will remove the preference. Okay, and then when I load the page, we'll load back the preference and will automatically show the email and password here. That depends. Okay. My neck's hurting me. All right, so how do we implement shared preference? So I'm going to implement based on tab here. So when user click on this, we'll check for email and password first, and then we store the preference. So which means that everything implemented through the checkbox here. And I'm going to check if is checked. Okay, so if it's checked means that user want to be remembered, but I want to check first if email and password is there. So if email controller is not empty and password controller is not empty, if both are not empty, then we can continue, right? So that's the logic here. So within if you got another if, this is just to check if the controller is not empty. So means that they want to save the preference if it's checked. Okay. So now we just create another method here. Either you want to use the same preference, store, store. I just want the method name store or remove. I can just use the same one, store or remove. Preference, method name is preference update or preference, yeah, preference update, it should be okay lah. Preference update, this is a value, sorry, is check, which is true. Or yeah, if check is true, means that they want to store. If other than that, they want to remove. So we can just use one method here. If it is not empty, which is this is going to be true. All right. So this is going to be preference update. So create the method pref update. Okay. So for pref update now, we'll check first if it's checked, means that we want to store. If it's not checked, we want to remove. So if it's checked, we want to store. Okay, we want to store the value. So it's going to be here. So the preference that we're going to use here is basically shared preference that we already have. So for shared preference, you can define your shared preference as here. Okay, so this is the shared preference. So we can just import the library. Since this is an asynchronous operation because you are reading data from your application directory, so we need to implement asynchronous, and you have you got yourself a preference object. Okay, so this preference object can be used to store or remove. Okay, so if is check is true, all we need to do now is create the key value, which is we want to store email and password. Okay, so you can straight away use the preference object. Since email and password is just string, a bunch of string, set string, key value. This is the key. This is the value from email controller.text. The same with preference set string here. For password, this is from password controller.txt. Other than that, we just remove that. So we just remove email and password. But there's one more preference that we need to store, which is the remember me preference. So we're going to add one more preference called remember me, which is using the set bool function here. Right, so this is check, and the other one is remove. Remember me. So this function here will either store or remove based on the is check. If it is true, store. If it is false, remove. Okay. All right. So preference update. If success, if this is a success, means that both are not empty. You want to store both, so we can just use snack bar. I'm using a different snack bar as snack bar. There's a much compact snack bar that I used before this. This is the snack bar that I use. So I'm going to tell user that, okay, we have our snack bar ready. And instead that, I'm going to just straight away use the tags here. Preference store. Okay. So this is just a shorter snack bar that I used before this. But if you want to remove, means that if it is not is checked, else. Okay, so here else, so means that you want them to remove. Okay, so just straight away, update preference is unchecked, and then just let user know that preference remove. Put the snack bar color to red, green, red. So green is okay, red is warning. Okay, or maybe yellow or something in that sense. Okay, so we remove that. So once we remove, you have to also make sure that you clear the text area. So email controller dot clear, password controller dot clear. So and then set state. Okay, so that is the case if you remove. This one also another case, like if email controller is not empty, password controller is not empty. So let user know that, all right, so what you need to have your preference, both email and controller, fill in first. Okay, so means that scaffold messenger, fill in all the fill in your email and password. That's it. Or this one we put yellow for the snack bar. All right, in that sense, I hope that makes sense to you. So I'm going to remove all this first and untap on this. Oh yeah. If this thing happen, missing plugin exception error, even though we already successfully installed the plugin, you have to stop and reinstall again because that plugin is not yet available in your Flutter SDK, your Flutter hot reload. So it means that you have to reinstall again. Sometimes you don't have to. Sometimes you have to. That depend on certain library. Maybe smaller library you don't have to worry much, but Sharedpreference can be considered as a large library, so you might have to do reinstallation. So we wait for a while. And let's see if you're able to store preference. Well, there's one more function I forgot. So to load preference, because every time you go back to the login screen, if you have the preference ready, stored in your application directory, you want them to be loaded to your text field. All right, just for now, I just want to test the preference update if it is working or not. All right, so go back to the registration. I already have an account here. All right, so if I try to check on remember me here, you can see that it's in yellow. Oh, yellow, it is not a good color. So means that either you change the text color to a different color. So this one can be red. Oh, sorry. This preference here, preference remove. If you have nothing, means that you don't have to, but right now, fill in your email and password. So it means that we have to handle one more thing. If we don't have anything, or if we check here, we need to put something first just to make sure that, okay, we're not removing anything if we have nothing. So um, if email controller dot text control is empty, don't do anything. We can just return, and or maybe if you want to let user know that, okay, there's nothing to do here. Okay, so like for example, right at the moment, if I tap on this, if I want to store, it says here, please fill in your email and password. But it's still tick on this, so it means that there's a one more thing that you have to set here. So I put out please fill in email and password, and definitely is checked. We need to turn to false and set state. Okay, so it means that something like this. So we don't have email and password. You tap on this, it will keep unticked because we set our check as always false. So it means that you cannot do anything. Fill in your email and password first, and then yeah, nothing happened to the checkbox. But if I put something, see 1, 2, 3. So if I tap on this, you can see there's a preference store. Okay, means that able to store the preference. Oh, sure, sorry. Okay, so remember me, preference store. Untick on this, preference remove. Okay, remove the preference. That is for storing and removing your preference. But there are one more thing that's very important. If you already stored your password, like for example, for credentials or Ali at email.com, ABC123. So remember me. The preference is already there, but if I go back and I try to open back the page, whatever, oh, sorry, to open back the login page here, I don't have that email and password. So it means that you need to load your credential here first when you first load the page. So it means that you can implement that through your init state. Load, you can just call load preference. Okay, create a load preference and create method load preference. And this is where you can just check your preference if there's any. Right. So to check for the preference, we can just use the get instance. All right, so this is basically just to check if remember me is not null and there's a remember me. Okay, so this is basically the following logic. So the shared preference will get instant from the shared preference, and we'll check first for the remember me key. So if the remember me key is not empty, because for the first time, if you use the application, you don't have this preference. So you check first. If the remember me is not empty, get the remember me. So you get that, because if it is not available, we'll always set, it will tell us that this is not available, it's null. So if remember me is not equal null, and you have the value of remember me, what we need now is just get the email, get the password, and then set the email and password to the email that we have from the preference, and update the UI. That's it. Okay. So it means that this load preference method call when we start the init state. So it means that when we go back to the login page here, this is the login. When I tap on this, you should be able to see your email and password appear in your screen. in your form. Okay, so you can see that clearly I'm able to load the email and password, and that's basically the email and password from my shared preference. So if I remove on this and I go back and try to go back to the login page again, you can see I don't have that email and password because I already removed email and password from shared preference. Okay. Once again, remember me, you can see preference stored. Okay, go back, then already have account. You can see that my email and password already being uh, available in the page. Okay, so user don't have to remember the password, remember the email all the time, need to enter email all the time, but this only consider for application that basically personal to user, and it's not that require what do you call it, a secured operation, because when you have your email and password being displayed here, this is actually being stored in the application directory. Okay, the password is stored as as a key value item, is JSON data in your application directory, and you're going to have problem if that file or even like if you allow this, means that now you can allow for people to see the password and email. So that's also can be like bad for people, for the user. So you don't want this, maybe you can just remove this icon here. So this one also the same. Let me just demonstrate. Don't have an account. So it means that you don't have an account. I can just use gesture detector here, implement wrap with widget. This is a gesture detector implemented. And for the gesture detector, we can just use on tap. And then we can just always use the, I don't like using navigator.push name. Navigator, where's my navigator? It's not here. It's my register. Okay, this one. Just want to go back to my register page, which is here. Navigator, but go back to the register screen. Okay, so now if you tap on don't have an account, register here, you will go back to the register page. Okay. But since we didn't pop the login page, it will always be there. If you don't want to go back to the login page, you can use either push. I think it's better just to pop the current UI, and then you don't have that issue. Okay, you have login, register back, login back, register back, login back, register back. So with that, you're going to have the following back and forth, because the stack always there. Okay, so if you want to, you can just remove, pop the current contact, which is basically for navigation. If you go back here, it's basically if you want to go back, it will go back to the main page automatically. Depend on how you want to implement your navigation. Either it's a linear navigation, it is basically a tree navigation, or whatever navigation that you want to have with your application. It's up to you. Okay, this is sorry again. So this is basically for the backend login.php. So once we have our login block here for HTTP requests, we can just straight away log in, and the usual set header, set the if block, check for the post is set. If post is set is okay, is available, then continue. Get the email and password again, hash the password, connect to database, build SQL, query SQL, check if the SQL written anything, build the response, send back to application. If success, and otherwise if fail. At the bottom down here, this is basically if something else goes wrong. Yep, that's it. Okay, so that's basically for login. So let's see if we manage to get it to return anything through our debug console when we press the login button. Because we have marked or we put print here response.body. Should be able to see down here. All right, so let me press the login. So we send out email and password, login. There you go. You receive login success. So if I put wrong password, try to log in again, you can see fail, right? So that is the basic for login. So now you can just work with the login. So it means that, for example, you check first if the status code equal 200, means that is the correct status code. Okay, and then we have our response body here to handle the response.body array. So we can check if JSON response so it's contain success. Just JSON's response. This one is straight away check for the success, but I just want to have something similar with register. You can do that also, like this one. Oh, I do have JSON decode already, right? Oh, I didn't decode yet. I forgot about that. That's why. So, response array, decode the response array first, import your convert, and then you want to print, go ahead. But I just want to check first if rest array equals status success, and then just show snack bar. If mounted, it's always like if mounted for the contact. Okay, so login success. If something goes wrong, login fail. But if something goes wrong, we just show this one. Right, so again, login success. Supposed to be login fail, invalid or email or password, or in that case. All right, so that's basically just for the login. So if you want to have your login go back to the main page, you can just straight away navigate. If it is success, you just pop the login, and then there you go. Okay, so if this is success, this is fail, this is success, it goes back to the main page, says that the login is success. But definitely it's not going to be end there because we need to get the user preference, email and password and everything stored. Or even like, but for now we don't have any names, we don't have any other information, just email and password, and you need to add that later. Okay. And from the database perspective, it's just only table user. We only have the following user in our database. All right, so I think that's the only part I want to cover today. You have your shared preference, you have your login, and also a little bit lesson on the database error. There you go, how you solve the problems. All right.